All right, so in this tutorial, what we're going to do is talk about how to take my storyline course and save that down to PowerPoint. Now, this is an issue that happens at times. You build something in PowerPoint, you import it into Storyline, you build your course. After your interactive course is built, your customer or somebody says, hey, can we have a PowerPoint version of the course? Now, one of the challenges is that Storyline's highly interactive, right? Because inside a Storyline, you can have all sorts of interactive things. You've got state changes on objects. You've got slide layers. You may be using triggers and variables and those things. So Storyline's designed to be highly interactive. PowerPoint has some level of interactivity, but it's mostly a linear presentation tool. So being able to convert Storyline to PowerPoint's not something that's going to happen. So how do I take what I've built in Storyline and bring that into PowerPoint? That's what we're going to look at today. For the most part, when you look at the screen, though, even though you don't have the level of interactivity, when you look at the screen, it's essentially the same, right? So you're going to have a screen here. There's text and pictures and those things. So what you have on screen, you can bring into PowerPoint. So we're going to work on the assumption that you built your course, everything in Storyline is fine, and now you need to take your Storyline content and bring it into PowerPoint. So we're going to bring what you see on the screen into PowerPoint, and then you'll be able to work from it in there. So first thing we want to do is when you're working in Storyline, a couple considerations. You need to think about the slide aspect ratio. So in Storyline, if you go to the Design tab, you can go to Story Size, and by default it's 4:3. You can also change it to 16:9. When you're working in PowerPoint, the default in PowerPoint is 16:9. You can change that to 4:3. But whatever you're doing, you want to make sure that what you're doing in Storyline and what you're doing in PowerPoint have the same aspect ratio. So in Storyline, you can change the aspect ratio before you make changes in the Design tab, and you can do the same thing in PowerPoint. Just go to the Design tab and change the slide size. So that's one consideration. The other thing is you want to look at the level of interactivity that you have in Storyline. In this particular example, this is just a demo from Content Library, just use some slides. But I may have some interactive content. So for example, here's a two-person scenario. I've got 3 choices, and then I've got these slide layers, right? Well, PowerPoint doesn't have a notion of this interactivity, so it's going to do a capture. We can do that, a capture of these, and then we'll do a capture of these things, and then you can build the interactions if you want to in PowerPoint, but we're going to capture the screens. You may have quizzes in Storyline. Those aren't going to transfer over. So you want to look at what you have that's interactive and then see if there's any adjustments you need to do. If you have things like media, like audio and video, you can always take those and bring those into PowerPoint after the fact. So we're going to assume this is good. We've got these 8 slides. What we're going to do now is take the content from these 8 slides, and we want to bring that into PowerPoint. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to go up to the Home tab, and I'm going to publish this. So when I choose Publish, what I want to do is I want to choose Publish, and I'll publish for Word here. And then what that's going to do is give me a Word version of what I have in PowerPoint or in Storyline. Now, I can choose Show Layers, and that's what I want to do because I want to capture all the content. Slide notes if you want those. The main thing here is we want to have the largest image possible because we're going to pull those images out and use those in PowerPoint. So I'm going to choose Large Image, and then all I need to do is save it to a folder, which I'll find here. All right, I have a folder here, and we're going to just save this into the Word folder, and I'm going to hit Select Folder. Now it's going into my folder. I've got my title here, and then I've made sure that I chose layers, and then I'm using large images. I'm going to go ahead and hit Publish. And what this does is it's going to create a document for you here. So we're going to go ahead and view the document. What that did is opened up a Word document. Now this is going to be saved into an older version of Word, so with the .doc extension. And that's just so people who have older versions of Word can open up these files. Now, one thing you could do is if all you needed was like a handout or something, this gives you your slides, right? You can see your slides. If you had notes in the slides, you'd have those in there as well. And then you'd have everything there. So if this works for you, you could just save this as a handout if you're using it just for archives or things like that. What we want to do though is we want to extract these images and bring those into PowerPoint. One way you could do that is you can just right click on the image and save these out as pictures and then bring the pictures in PowerPoint, but we're not going to do that. What we're going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and close, or before I close this, I'm going to save this as a .docx, which is the newer extension for PowerPoint. So go to File, Save As, and then we can see we have our folder here. You can see it's .doc. I'm just going to change this to the default, which is .docx, and we're going to go ahead and hit Save. Now what we have is two versions. We've got our old version and then we've got our new version. So let's go ahead and look inside that folder. All right, so inside the folder that PowerPoint or that Storyline created, we can see we have our older version here. That's the .doc, and then this is the newer version. So the newer version is basically a compressed file. So what that means is with the .docx, I can uncompress or decompress it or unzip the file. I use a free program called 7-Zip. So when I right click on this, you can see I have 7-Zip here. I'm going to extract it. Now what it's going to do is it's just going to create a folder, unzip that file, and show everything that's inside of that Word document. So we're going to open that up. It's telling me that the Word is being used. So let me go ahead and close this Word document down here. Word's closed. Now let's go ahead and unzip that. So we're going to go to 7-Zip. We're going to extract that. You can see it's going to create a folder here. And this is basically this Word document unzipped. So when I go inside the folder, this is everything that's inside of Word and the XML files and those things. We're just concerned with this Word folder. And inside there, there's a media folder. And inside the media folder, here are all the pictures. Now you know where they're at. I like to do this. I'm just going to do Control-C, and I'm going to copy those, and I created inside this folder here, I created a image folder. So I'm going to put all the images in there just so I have them all inside of here. So I've got all my images. These came from that Microsoft Word file. Now what we're going to do is go into PowerPoint. So I'm going to open up PowerPoint. All right, so when you have PowerPoint open here, we don't even really need to worry about this. What I'm going to do is go to Insert, and then we're going to choose Photo Album. So when I choose Photo Albums, I'm going to create a new photo album, and basically we're going to go into that folder, find the images, and bring them into a photo album. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to find them on disk. Here's my image folder, and inside here are all my images. I'm just going to go ahead and select those, hit Insert. And now I've got all the images, and you can rearrange them and do different things here. We're not going to worry about that. What we want to do is look at our options. So what we're going to do is fit them all to slide, and then I'm going to hit Create. Now that particular file I think was a 4x3, so let's see what happens. Hit Create, and by default PowerPoint opens up a 16:9. So let's go ahead and get rid of this image. Now these are all 16:9 here. You can see there's this black border here. We don't want those bars. What we want is a 4x3 slide. This is why that aspect ratio is important. So all we need to do is go into the Slide Design tab here. So let's go to Design tab, and I'm going to choose my slide size. I'm going to choose 4x3. And then we're just going to say maximize. Let's see what happens. And so now you can see it maximize that. So all those slides or the images in Storyline were 4x3. So we just created a 4x3 PowerPoint. Now we have a PowerPoint file. At this point, you just have to save it. And then you've got all of your Storyline content inside of there. The main point here in all of this is that I've got all my Storyline content that was interactive. I can at least extract the content and the screens, bring them into PowerPoint, and now I have a viable file. I can save the PowerPoint file, use it for presentations. I can make some simple edits, and then I can also save that as a PDF or something like that as well. Hopefully that helps.